What wonders lie along the 1,500 kilometers that separate two of the main European capitals? On this journey, we will discover enchanting places along the Berlin to Rome route and see how architecture and culture gradually transform as we travel from northern to southern Europe. So, let's head straight to the starting point. The Brandenburg Gate could only be the place from which to start our journey, leaving behind a modern, vibrant city with great historical charm. Berlin is a young capital, the political center of contemporary Europe, where different realities and stories intertwine in the shadow of famous monuments and futuristic buildings. The German capital is still evolving, with a recent history that permeates its broad streets, and monuments almost hidden by its continuous cultural layering. Leaving Berlin and heading south, it bids us farewell with a large park, at the end of which we immediately encounter our next destination. We soon reach Potsdam, a city with an imperial appearance at the gates of the capital, often defined as the German Versailles for its numerous palaces and for having been the seat of the Emperor of Prussia. After crossing the historic center, which has preserved its ancient structure, we immerse ourselves in the majestic park. Here we can admire the Sanssouci Palace. This Rococo masterpiece was the summer residence of Frederick the Great. Surrounded by terraced vineyards and ornate gardens, we fly over the A9, where cars speed limitlessly, to reach Wittenberg, located on the banks of the Elbe River, a city steeped in history and culture. Often associated with Martin Luther, who initiated the Protestant Reformation here, it is famous for its fascinating Renaissance architectures that harmoniously blend with more modern constructions. Walking through its well-preserved historic center, it is possible to admire the Schlosskirche, the church where Luther posted his 95 Theses, an event that changed the course of Western religious history. Moving south, we encounter Leipzig, a dynamic and pulsating city in the heart of Saxony. Famous for its significant role, both in the arts and in German political history, Leipzig offers a vivid contrast between the old and the new. And here is the Thomaskirche, where Johann Sebastian Bach was cantor, and where his remains rest, an essential landmark for lovers of classical music. Beyond its rich past, Leipzig is also known for its revolutionary spirit, having been one of the centers of the protests that led to the fall of the Iron Curtain. Today, this energy is reflected in the vibrant district of Plagwitz, full of innovative artistic spaces and eclectic nightlife. Continuing our journey through the German plains, we reach Bayreuth, at the gates of Bavaria. Bayreuth is renowned for its rich cultural heritage, particularly for its connection with another famous composer, Richard Wagner. The city hosts the acclaimed Festspielhaus, a theater designed for Wagner's epic operas, which attracts classical music enthusiasts from around the world every year. Bayreuth also boasts elegant architectures like the Margravial Palace and its Baroque gardens. The historic center offers a view of traditional facades and spacious squares, while the nearby Hermitage Park invites tranquility with its fountains and artistic pavilions. Resuming the journey and entering the heart of Bavaria, we find the second most important city of the state, Nuremberg, which combines medieval history and modernity. Known for its castle and medieval walls, the historic center is vibrant, enriched by traditional markets and Gothic churches, as well as modern museums and art galleries. Every year, the famous Christkindlesmarkt transforms Nuremberg into a magical Christmas market. Leaving Nuremberg behind, we cross the Danube and pass through one of the most productive areas in Germany, home to the headquarters of major automotive manufacturers like Audi and BMW. And here is Munich, the Bavarian capital, a lively crossroads of historical heritage and pulsating modernity. Also famous for its festive Oktoberfest, the city offers much more than beer celebrations. The bustling heart is Marienplatz, with the imposing Neues Rathaus and the Glockenspiel Carillon that enchants visitors. Rich in world-class museums and opulent theaters, Munich is also a center of technological and industrial innovation. This charming city combines the elegance of Bavarian traditions with a cosmopolitan spirit, making it a must-visit destination in Germany. Having said goodbye to Munich, it takes just over 40 minutes by car to glimpse the slopes of the Alps, behind which lies southern Europe. After climbing over 700 meters above sea level, we reach Garmisch-Partenkirchen, a fascinating destination where nature and culture harmoniously blend. Famous for hosting winter sports, including alpine skiing competitions, this town offers breathtaking views of Zugspitze, Germany's highest mountain. Its picturesque streets are a mosaic of traditional alpine architecture, with colorful frescoes and flower-filled balconies. Only 10 kilometers separate Garmisch-Partenkirchen from the border with Austria, where we are now surrounded by the mountains of the Tyrol region. Having crossed the Fern Pass, at 1,200 meters, we descend towards our next destination. Innsbruck, nestled in the heart of the Austrian Alps, is a jewel of history and sport. Known as the capital of the Alps, the city is famous for having hosted 2 editions of the Winter Olympics. Its historic center is dominated by the famous Golden Roof, a beautifully decorated Gothic balcony that reflects the imperial prestige of the past. The narrow medieval streets lead to modern sports facilities, evidence of the still vibrant Olympic spirit. After Innsbruck, we climb again, towards the narrow pass that leads to the gates of Italy. The Brenner Pass is a tangle of bridges and tunnels at 1,372 meters above sea level, after which we enter Italy, where we immediately begin descending towards the Isarco River Valley. At this point, a climate change is already noticeable, despite still being in the Alps. After numerous castles, which mark the border history of this region, the valley opens up where the city of Bolzano rises. In this fascinating city where we can most notice the progression of our journey, Italian and German cultures blend, and it is known for its breathtaking alpine landscape and vibrant market squares. Bolzano offers a unique atmosphere, thanks also to its Christmas markets and prominent museums like the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology, home to one of the best-preserved mummies in the world, the Similan Man, better known as Ötzi. We cross the valley rich in vineyards that follows the course of Italy's second-longest river, the Adige, and reach one of the jewels of the Italian Renaissance. Rich in history, Trento is famous for the Council of Trent, a crucial event of the Counter-Reformation. Reflected in the imposing architecture of the historic center, the elegant squares, towers, and frescoed palaces bear witness to its glorious cultural heritage. Its castle, once the seat of the principality that controlled the region, dominates the city. But Trento is also famous for its contemporary architecture and for being one of the world capitals of wine and sparkling wine production. It is home to important companies like Ferrari, which supplies the sparkling wine for Formula One. A brief detour takes us beyond the mountain range that surrounds the valley to discover Italy's largest lake. Lake Garda is a scenic paradise that enchants visitors from around the world. Surrounded by picturesque villages, lush olive groves, and vineyards that climb the hills, it offers a diversified landscape ranging from the imposing cliffs of the north to the gentle beaches of the south. Known for its crystal-clear waters and outdoor activities, such as sailing, windsurfing, and hiking, the lake is a true natural playground. Its shores are dotted with medieval castles, historic villas, and lush gardens, offering a perfect fusion of natural beauty and architectural treasures. We have now reached the other end of the Alps, where a series of hills follow one another, and immediately we encounter Verona, the quintessentially romantic city. World famous as the setting for Shakespeare's tragedy, Romeo and Juliet, Verona fascinates with its imposing Roman-era monuments and the majestic arena. Its cobblestone streets lead to lively squares like Piazza della Erbe, surrounded by pastel-colored medieval and Renaissance palaces. A jewel of rare beauty, Verona offers a fascinating overview of its glorious past and vibrant Italian life. Leaving Verona behind, the plain opens up, and a short distance away, we discover Mantua, surrounded on 3 sides by the tranquil waters of the lakes created by the Mincio River. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Mantua is famous for its magnificent Renaissance palaces, such as the gigantic Ducal Palace, a complex of buildings, courtyards, and gardens, and the splendid Palazzo Te. Its historic streets offer a fascinating view of vivid frescoes and medieval architecture. Leaving the center, we leave behind an urban fabric that has remained unchanged for centuries. We cross the Po, Italy's longest river, and enter the land of Emilia, the homeland of food and motors. We arrive in Modena, renowned for its splendid historical heritage and excellent cuisine. The city boasts UNESCO monuments such as the cathedral, the Civic Tower, and the Grand Square, majestic examples of Romanesque architecture. Famous for traditional balsamic vinegar, prosciutto, and parmesan, Modena is a paradise for food lovers and offers a deep immersion in Italian gastronomic tradition. A short distance from Modena are the headquarters of companies like Ducati and Ferrari. And just beyond, we enter the regional capital. Bologna, in the heart of Emilia-Romagna, is renowned for its university, the oldest in the Western world. Characterized by its medieval towers, Asinelli and Garisenda, and the elegant arcades leading to Piazza Maggiore, Bologna is a center of lively cultural activity. Known as the Fat One for its culinary excellence, it offers delights such as tagliatelle with ragu and tortellini. Leaving Bologna behind, the hills return to surround us as we penetrate the Apennine chain. After high passes and tunnels, the landscape becomes more regular, where the Renaissance capital Florence arises. The city houses masterpieces in museums like the Uffizi and the Accademia Gallery, and boasts the Duomo with its iconic Brunelleschi's dome. Its medieval streets open onto historic squares like Piazza della Signoria, the center of cultural and social life. Florence is also a lively hub of fashion and craftsmanship, famous for its leather goods and jewelry. A trip to Florence offers an immersion in beauty that continues to enchant the world. We are now in the heart of Tuscany, with the famous hills dotted with towns and cities. Here we meet Pienza, a jewel of Tuscany, famous for being the model of the ideal city desired by Pope Pius II. Its structure was designed to have well-proportioned streets and enchanting squares, like the main square. The Duomo and surrounding palaces reflect the architectural harmony that Pienza aimed to embody. A short distance away is Montepulciano, renowned for its wine and Renaissance beauty. With its panoramic views and historic buildings like the Temple of San Biagio, Montepulciano is an example of elegance. Its stone streets meander among ancient wineries and lively squares, where the noble wine of Montepulciano is celebrated every day of the year. Descending further south, along Italy's main highway, the A1, we enter Orvieto, perched on a tough cliff. This city enchants us with its history and medieval architecture, dominated by the majestic cathedral, a masterpiece of Italian Gothic famous for its glittering facade and frescoes. The city offers breathtaking views of the surrounding valleys. Its cobblestone streets are a labyrinth of artisan shops and restaurants serving traditional Umbrian cuisine. Beyond Orvieto, we are now in the heart of the peninsula, in Lazio. Here we are greeted by Lake Bracciano, famous for its majestic medieval castle and natural beauty. The perfectly preserved Odescalchi Castle dominates the townscape of the namesake town, which rises on the lake and offers a spectacular view of the waters below. Just a few dozen kilometers now separate us from our final destination, and we begin to glimpse the hills that have made it famous around the world. And here is Rome, the eternal city, with its monuments and treasures from every era. We arrive at the Roman Forum, with the Colosseum in the distance, where we find the Miliarium Aureum, from which all the famous roads of the empire once departed. If you enjoyed this journey from Berlin to Rome and want to see other travel adventures like it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Your support really helps us produce videos like these and always improve. Thank you for this adventure together, and as always, safe travels.